Call Haloim Yahweh, Bahasham, Hamashiach Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, Barakatham, Shalom. This is your fellow servant Tazawar from the GMS Orlando camp, here with another lesson. First, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone whom rule well, and from whom we learn this truth. Shalom to Yakim, who are not in GMS, but are pushing likewise doctrine in spirit and in truth with all sincerity. To you few sisters that are listening and learning, as well as you speckled birds who are scattered among the nations, looking like those nations, to the 144,000 elect men and the rest of the hopeful elect. To you I say, Shalom. This video is pretty much just observing the times, right? Observing the times that we're coming into. And we often speak on Jacob's trouble, and we herald in, especially men of GMS, we constantly herald in the day of the Lord, right? My last video I did was titled Vengeance is Mine, saith the Lord, right? Or roughly paraphrase, something like that. Going into how pretty much all we have to do is sit back and wait, right? And that's a common talking point amongst the body, all right, in the men of GMS, because we understand that we have no might in our hand, right? We have no power in our hand, all right? It has to be of the Lord. And I brought out scriptures the last video showing that when the Lord get busy, it's going to be no second guessing, right? How these judgments are plaguing our adversaries and our oppressors. Okay? And that is both for the nations to see, but also that's for Jake to see. All right? Because we know that the scriptures talk about judgment beginning at the house of the Lord. So a lot of 2/3, all right, non-believers that are Israelites who claim to be, black, Muslim, Latin, Puerto Rican, those of you who don't want to, so you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that do not want to return to your true biblical heritage, and you don't want to serve the true living power, all right, Yahweh and his son, the firstborn of creation, Yahushai Hamashiach. Well, that 2/3, that 66% of our people will be judged along with the other nations. Okay, but the Lord is going to make it clear to both the heathen and the rebels of our nation that the judgments are coming forth from the Lord, and that when we are saved out of this thing, that it's not from the might of our own hands. Okay, because we were given into the hands of our enemies, man. These devils aren't better or stronger or more superior than us in any fashion. But with that being said, we know that Sleazy E is beginning to be affected by some of the decisions that Orange Man is making, right? 45, 47, right? Donnie J. He's stirring up some shit, man. So I'm gonna play this video, Lord willing, right? This clip real quick, and we're gonna get a little commentary on it. Okay, so bear with me, Baba Kushar. Yeah, I want y'all to see this this header right here. It says fired FAA employee who was working on, you see it, right? Missile defense. Americans should be scared, right? And if you see right here, this is just going into the news, all right? And before I hit play on this, fair use, all right? Fair use. Fair use. I'm not getting any money off of this, all right? And this video is only being played with my commentary and reactions to this clip, right? And it's news, as you see, it's CNN, all right? But if you see here, right here, it gives you in the description, this guy, defense program, all right? Spitzer Statlander says Americans, let me read it from the top. Former FAA employee Charles Spitzer Statlander says he was working on an FAA defense program when he was fired on Friday. Right? I guess that's supposed to be Spitzer, right? They missed the T. Spitzer Statlander says Americans should be scared in the wake of several hundred FAA firings. Meanwhile, former federal employee Amanda Mae Downey is one of many fired from the Forest Service. Okay, so welcome. All right, welcome, Pink Man, to some of the shit that us Israelites have been going through. All right, with our security and how we make our living, you know, constantly being, you know, taken away, and we having to make lifestyle adjustments and all these things. So these things coming from this DEI that Trump has done has affected, is going to affect more so-called white people, more Edomites than people realize. But let's listen to this real quick.
We're hearing tonight a warning from one of the several hundred FAA employees who was just fired. I'm, quote, I'm scared to death, and the American public should be scared too, is what we're hearing from Charlie Statlander, who says he was working on an urgent FAA defense program in Hawaii to detect incoming cruise missiles. He thought his job would be spared because it focused on national security. But on Friday, along with hundreds of other FAA probationary employees, he was fired, and Charlie joins me now. And thank you for being here. It's great to have you. Because obviously this warning, you say that the American public should be scared by your firing and the hundreds of your FAA colleagues as well. Why is that?
Hey, Kaylin, thank you so much for having me on tonight. And, thank you for giving me the platform to tell my story. I wish I was here under different circumstances, but alas, here we are. So I do think the American public does need to be concerned about, not only my firing, but also the firing of so many public safety, national security professionals at the FAA and, within the Department of Transportation, but, writ large also throughout the federal government. And I gave that quote about being scared to death because, well, I can't talk about the specifics of the project I worked on and what all I was doing. What I can tell you is that the FAA National Defense Program that I was a part of and was incredibly proud to work for the mission, to accomplish the mission of, has an incredibly important national security role. And I was working on incredibly important national security work. And by being summarily fired without any warning, actually while I was in the process of working, I think that is detrimental to national security.
You were at work when you got fired?
I was. I had actually just returned from a work trip, a briefing at one of work, way more than 40 hours a week. And it goes to show that the rumors that are being spread by the administration and Doge that federal workers are just leeches on the government are incorrect. But with that said, I had just returned home from a briefing, a work trip. I had another one scheduled actually for today, and I was working late into the night after I had returned home to get my notes and my thoughts down so that I could.
Hey, boo-hoo. All right. And I want to say this too. These the type of Edomites you got to look out for, because these middle-aged so-called white men, these are the ones who will be crashing out. All right. These are the ones that form the militias. All right. Let me grab some script real quick. This is let me get Psalms, the 49th chapter, because this is how they feel. And these bastards are proud, man. These devils are proud. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on. 11 is what I want, I believe, but I was just reading up a little bit. All right. I'll just get straight to the point. This is Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses, right, shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call the lands after their own names, right? Nevertheless, man being honored abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish, right? This their way is their folly, yet their posterity approve their sayings, right? Their posterity approves their sayings. And these people are proud. And that word houses goes into when you really go into it, houses speaks on families, right? It speaks on the patriarchal familial structure. All right. Furthermore, when you really go into depth, get a deeper understanding of that, houses are erected and established by people that have power. Okay. Speaking of that patriarchal structure. Okay, that's going into a high status. Okay. So you can understand these people may not be like so we don't live in the times of what we know as kings, right? But you have your aristocrats, the high families of society, those that have privilege, right? And even the lesser, what we talk about as the lesser luminaries. All right, we speak on these things often, not the super elites like the Rothschilds and the DuPonts and the Gettys and the Oppenheimers, right? That the brothers always bringing those names out. But if you look at names like the Waltons, who own Walmart, if you look at the Hiltons, the Gates family, all right, these people are wealthy Edomite families that have established their houses, their status in society. So they're still in the upper echelon, right? And so you can understand they're pretty much high paid. Many of them are high paid taskmasters, all right, or overseers of the general populace. Okay, so I'm just so you can get understanding of how deep the scripture is when it's speaking on their inward thought. All right, because when you really speak to these devils, man, they believe that that this country, America, all right, that Babylon the Great, they believe this place is going to persist forever, man. That their rulership is going to persist forever. Now, the beautiful thing is, the Lord set it up to where we know that this is an offshoot of the Greco-Roman Empire. And we know that Greece fell, and we know that Rome fell, right? So this is Rome 2.0. We are living in the revival of Rome. And the same things are happening. So now we are seeing the decline or the downward spiral of this society, right? And there's another superpower coming in at play. All right, the BRICS, with your monetary backing, which would be Moab, the Chinese, and then you have the military backing, which would be Russia, and then the subsequent smaller nations that Russia will train up and provide arms to, that have now become a part of the BRICS conglomerate. All right, and they're going to do a lot of technology sharing and all of this. So like Iran, India, they will soon have hypersonic missiles. They'll have that technology. Okay? But back to the point. This guy had a government job. Okay? And he felt he was safe. But again, these are the type of Edomites you got to watch out for, man. Look at his eyes. They look cold, soulless. And you know his ass can grow a beard, and he's walking around with a smooth baby face, showing his lack of top lip, right? The lack of his top lip. Anyway, they feeling the squeeze, right? And his job, when you continue to listen to this clip, he says that his job was probationary. Okay? And here,
prepared to share with my boss and other folks.
So he felt there was some level of entitlement, is what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to get across. He felt he was safe. All right, and when you go through the rest of this video, the woman that speaks on her losing her job, all right, had the same thought. The same thought, which shows you this is both a common thought in the Edomite male and the Edomite female. All right, but let's listen to more.
In my branch before I actually went to my briefing this week.
Well, and Charlie, I just wonder what you say about this, given you talk about this defense radar system that you're working on. I know you can't go into the details of that, but the White House defended these cuts by saying no air traffic controllers nor any professionals who perform safety critical functions were terminated. Is that accurate from what you know?
So again, I was in the FAA National Defense Program, so I don't really have any knowledge on the air traffic controller side of that. But I can tell you that the second part of that, regarding public safety or critical public safety, from my perspective and the work I was doing, is a flat out false statement.
Charlie Statlander, I know that this obviously came as a shock to you. Thank you for coming on and sharing your experience. It's good to hear from someone who actually went through this instead of just looking at the numbers, to actually hear from a person who was affected by this. Thank you for sharing that with me tonight.
Hey, thank you so much, Caitlin.
A lot of people tell us you finally explained.
National Defense Program. That's what he was a part of, the National Defense Program. All right. But like you saw, the statement that the president gave was that no critical jobs or positions were lost. Right? Salakia. All right.
Much, Caitlin.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is now working.
And I'm going to just say this too. This AI is going to take a lot of this AI technology is going to take a lot of jobs. It's going to take a lot of jobs from people. All right, and people in positions like these that feel that they have a critical role. All right, because this AI, man, it can do algorithms and calculations and all of that far faster and much more superior than the average human. All right, and they don't get tired. The computers don't need sleep. They don't need vacation time. So this is just another thing to consider, to keep in mind. All right. Now let's listen to this female real quick.
To rescind termination letters sent to employees working on bird flu response. Those workers were among the scores of firings at multiple federal agencies, including the U.S. Forest Service. Joining us now is Amanda Mae Downey. Amanda, thank you for coming on. So you worked for the Forest Service. Did you ever think you'd be in this position? You would be on the chopping block?
So as a probationary employee, there's always that risk, right? But I worked hard and I did my job, and I did not think that this would be something that would happen to someone who goes in under these conditions and proves themselves and works really hard. And that's been a real gut punch for me.
I imagine it has been. And from what I read, you know, you have a family that you're trying to support. Tell us about the process of termination, what that was like for you. Are you still getting paid? When does your pay end?
Yeah, so I received a text message from my supervisor asking if I had a minute to talk. I was actually busy helping my daughter move unexpectedly in Grand Rapids from her college apartment.
Yeah, all right. Listen, you see her and you read the caption. She works for the Department of Forestry or something like that. And she was one of the people working on bird flu, right, response and things of that nature. Okay, so we have national defense, but we also have something that is still tied and related to the health field. Okay, public health and public defense. So those two things, just keep your eye on. All right. Now, as I said before, you know, she felt entitled, right? She didn't think, despite her being a probationary employee, she didn't think somebody in her position, Salakia, would be at risk of losing their job because of what she does within the government, right? That goes into this inward thought that we read. Okay? Let's get another one. Hold on. So let's grab another script real quick. What I want. This is the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, right? And let's start at 3. All right. Riches are not comely for a niggard. And what should an envious man do with money? The point is in 5, right? He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others that shall spend his goods riotously, right? And this guy, the elites do defraud their own souls. They defraud their own people, all right? This is why the middle class is wiped out. Damn near. We are damn near in the time of the have and the have-nots. All right, and it's going to get worse. Okay? But these people, hey, they tax everything. And those lesser luminary families that I spoke on, like the Waltons, right, who own Walmart, and families in such high status like that, okay, they're overseers, they're taskmasters, and, which is why, you know, if you look at some of the brand, like some of the great value brand stuff, it's the most affordable thing that you can get, but it's also trash. Okay, poisoning the people that ingest those things. Anyway, and they get rich off of that, man. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his own goods, right? There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. If he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. All right? So let's watch. Because the point that I want to bring out was, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? Now, these devils been getting that easy money that whole time. All right? I'm not sure about their credentials and things like that, but a lot of these DEI positions, you know, benefited so-called white people, man. More so than so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We did benefit to a degree, but the majority of the recipients of those benefits were Edomites. All right. So here's another one. Let's get another one. Back in Psalms chapter 9 and 16. Okay. "15. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken." Beautiful. That's poetry. "The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands." Higgaion Selah. Right? "The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai." All right. And that is hopefully the start of what we're seeing. Okay, the true downward spiral. I mean, really, this country been on a downward spiral ever since Nam. You know, but the pace is quickening. You know, and we have to go through it. All right? You Jakes and you believers, you brothers and sisters, you Akim, who believe on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, we're going to have some trials too, man. We're going to have to go through some things. Right? But the scriptures say that we will be saved out of Jacob's trouble. I brought that out the other day. The previous video. All right? Even the day of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And that's us. But the wicked, they're going to fall. Yeah, they're going to end up falling on their own sword, man. So call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai for that. You know, I just wanted to show that clip so we could see, you know, how these Edomites are being affected by the things that Donnie J's doing. And it's going to get worse because when them tariffs hit, oh boy. Oh boy. So exciting times we're living in. All right. And this should be encouragement for the believers. All right. I'm going to grab one more. Then I'm going to close it out. Isaiah 13 and 14, because this too is soon coming with all those plane crashes, right? The FAA, right? Federal Aerospace Administration or whatever it is. Okay. National security, national defense, and national health. That's what we saw with these two individuals. Okay, so if things start to get bad, this is what we're going to see. Straight to the point. And it shall be as the chaste, Isaiah 13 and 14. And it shall be as the chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. All right. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. All right. And that's soon coming. That's soon coming. So you women, make sure you get in order. All right. Send up your petitions, your prayers. You Akim, get in order. All right. Because we coming upon perilous times. All right. And hey, Lord willing. All right. This thing happens before they can finish their Agenda 2030. But we'll see. All right. It's all the timing of the Lord. With that, I pray this message finds you well. I pray that it was edifying. And until next time, Shalom. Wa Abad Babal.